Hey, what's going on here? Upon opening the business data, David, the director exclaimed in surprise. This is a business meeting with a foreign company, so it's natural that the documents are in a foreign language, isn't it? A woman coldly responded to him. She was Mary, who had been working on this business deal with me, someone who had been unfairly fired by David. Yeah, I get that, but this is... David scrutinized the data intently. I can't read this. David was staring intently at the computer screen, sweat beading on his forehead. By firing me, he had inadvertently put himself in a difficult position. My name is John. I started working for a food import company after graduating university, and now I'm a 28-year-old office worker. My job is busy but very fulfilling and enjoyable. Because of this, I often find myself thinking about work even outside of work, and I don't show much interest in other things. As a result, I'm still single. There's a woman in my company named Mary who graduated from the same university and faculty as me. She's my colleague, and we've tackled numerous projects together, sharing both successes and failures, like comrades in arms. Sometimes we have conflict of opinions, and at other times we praise each other. In that process, we became good friends and could talk about anything. Eventually, we became friends who could stop by a bar after work, grab some beer, and chat comfortably while slightly intoxicated. Hey John, don't you think it's about time for you to see somebody? I don't think I need them yet. Are you sure? You could easily get a girlfriend. Then how about you, Mary? Aren't you going to find any boyfriend? I think I'm good for now too. I feel the same way as you do. Our conversations were mostly about work, but we also asked about each other's private lives and decided where to go out together. Being with her felt more like being with a friend of the same gender, so I felt very comfortable around her. When the order numbers increased and it got busier, a man about 5 or 6 years older than me joined our department as the director. His name was David. He was given the director position right away because he had worked for a major company before. To us, who knew nothing about him, he was nothing but a source of anxiety. I'm David, the new director. Well, I used to work for a much bigger company, so I expect I'm more capable than you guys. Nice to meet you. That was his first greeting. A month was about to pass since David became the director. At first, everyone had high hopes because he came from a big company. But his personality was terrible. Hey John, I told you to organize the order list. How's it going? I've just finished, so I'll bring it over to you. You're slow. Can't you even manage this much task quickly? I'm sorry. Hurry up and bring it here. This is our typical conversations as usual. He would push his work onto me and then complain. But he is still preferential to subordinates whom he likes. Especially the young women. I'm sorry that I'm late to bring this for you. Don't worry, it happens to everyone. Thank you so much. They were confused about how to react to David as well. It seemed they've decided to behave amiably for the time being, but most people found he is a creepy. Even when male employees treated David in a similar manner, they often got scolded, which only made the women dislike him more. Eventually, his blatant attitude led the department's employees to regard him with cold stares. When Mary and I went to the bar, we would often end up complaining about David. I really hate that guy. Yeah, his attitude towards women is so obvious. He keeps following me around, even during breaks and after work. And today, he was like, "Do you have a boyfriend? It's so clear what he's after me. That sounds tough. Here, let me treat you today to cheer you up." Really, yay. Though venting about David helped us feel a bit better, the constant stress started to wear on us. His behavior towards Mary was particularly blatant. "Hey Mary, how about we go out for dinner sometime? Sorry, I have a plan to do on that day." "What's plan? That's personal. Come on, You can tell me. Whenever David talked to Mary about non-work-related things, he would almost always try to touch her shoulder or make physical contact in some way. He even made gestures as if he was going to pat her on the head. Mary would avert her eyes from David, her face filled with disgust. David, here are the documents you asked for. They're all sorted. You're bringing them now. Sorry. Try to read the room next time. You see I'm talking to someone, don't you? Can't you even show that much consideration? Sorry. If he tried to go too far, I'd find some reason to stop David's hand or interrupt the conversation, but he didn't seem to appreciate that, and his attitude towards me got worse by the day. Hey John, take care of the trash and cleaning in the morning. Sorry, I have to go on a sales call now. Maybe someone else can. Shut up and just do it. But I really don't have the time. Seriously, you are so useless. You should have planned to leave earlier. It's your fault. Understood. He would sometimes lounge around while everyone else was busy working. John, bring me a coffee. Sorry, I'm actually middle of something. What? Hurry up and don't make excuses. But I sorry, understood. If I talked back, he would just nag more. Lately, I've learned to just apologize and get through it. And make some for Mary too. Yes. At that moment, Mary was shaking her head slightly from side to side. Her reaction was so funny that I couldn't help but laugh. What's so funny? Get on with it. I'm sorry. Also, when we were about to finish work and go out for drinks as usual, he would dump a load of work on me that couldn't be finished without staying late. Hey John, tidy up this data for tomorrow's meeting and prepare the documents and make copies for everyone too. I'm sorry, but I've already done for today. You can still work after you've done. Get on with it. Okay, but isn't this data only halfway done? Yeah, so, no, it's nothing. That's good. I'm going home then. Have a good night, sir. David left the office with refreshing confidence. Are you okay, John? As I stood there, frozen, Mary asked me gently. I'm fine, Mary. Sorry, it looks like I can't go out with you today. Don't worry about it. Do you need help with anything? Thanks, but you must be stressed out enough because of him. I'll be fine, so you go ahead. I'm okay. Well, sometimes I prefer to be alone at times like this. I see. Then, I'll go. Call me if you need anything. Thank you. Due to David's seemingly harassing behavior, the chances for Mary and me to go out for drinks significantly decreased. Because of that, our stress that we used to be able to vent has been accumulating. Honestly, I can't stand with this anymore. I felt a flame of anger burning inside me when I'm alone in the office. Mary and I had finally clinched a deal for wine trading with a client we had built a trust relationship with since we joined the company. The deal was worth an astonishing $10 million. It took some time because the client is a foreign company. However, it was one of the biggest deals in our company, and CEO Johnson was very pleased. Mary and I were called to the CEO's office separately. You've done really well, John. You are our company's pride. Thank you very much. How about this? It's not exactly a party, but there's a dinner coming up with some CEOs. Would you like to join as my assistant? Well, I'm honored, but is it okay for a regular employee like me to attend? What are you talking about? Your skills are undoubtedly genuine. Besides, my acquaintances are interested in who managed to close this deal. Is that so? Then, I'd be glad to accept your kind offer. Good. With your skills, you might own your own company someday. It would be good to make connections with CEOs for that time. Thank you very much. It was such a valuable opportunity. Mary was told something similar when she was called in later, but she declined the invitation to the dinner. When I asked why, she laughed and said, "These kind of gatherings make me feel suffocated." Back in the office, my colleagues were waiting for me at the entrance. They celebrated with crackers and congratulated us. Congrats, John and Mary. Congratulations. I'm happy for you guys. As members of the same department, we're proud of you. For a while, the office was like a party. Mary was genuinely happy and smiling among them, but due to a lingering sense of caution, I couldn't fully share in the joy. In the midst of the celebration, I noticed the absence of our department head, David. Hut, don't get cocky. As soon as his presence crossed my mind, I heard that words. Looking around the office, I found David in a corner. He was glaring at me with a smirk that was eerily unsettling. Seeing him like that, I couldn't purely enjoy the moment anymore. The next day, as expected, I was summoned to the meeting room by David. Seems like you've been living the high life lately. What do you mean? Are you playing dumb? Don't get cocky just because you achieved something decent. Did you expect someone like me, who has worked for major companies, to congratulate someone like you? He seems like he got a chip on his shoulder. He spoke to me with an atmosphere of blatant hostility. I couldn't help but furrow my brows at every word David said. Well, let's get to the issue. I hear you've been harassing Mary lately. I wanted to retort that he was the one harassing, but I suppressed that feeling and responded. That's not true. Did someone tell you that? I can say who did, and I don't need to show the evidence, because I've seen it myself. Is that so? As time passed in this discussion, or rather, this one-sided blame game, David's smirk grew wider. Deliberately closing the distance, touching her body despite her dislike. This is not good, is it? David shows the creepy smirk that people who mistakenly think they have the upper hand often show. I don't need someone who did like this at my department, so you're fired. Okay, actually, I expected it would happen someday. And even though it was a very rewarding job, I began to feel my body getting heavier and heavier day by day on my way to work because of him. I had thought about quitting someday, so I took this as an opportunity and accepted his words smoothly. Now you gotta worried about yourself. Oh, what a pity. Well, I have other things I want to do besides being office worker, so don't worry about me. Okay, then I leave because I'm already fired. Stop being tough. I'll at least lend you some money if you really beg me like down your knees. Excuse me. I didn't want to hear any more from him and tried to leave the room. That's when he cheerfully said, oh, right, that $10 million deal you and Mary worked on, I'll take that. Don't worry about the details. I'll ask her. No need to worry at all. Hearing this, I sneered at David and left the room. Not long after I left, I heard from Mary about what happened after. The day after I left, David was blatantly in a good mood. He started to bother her more than before, and Mary stressed out more than before. Don't worry, Mary. Even without a handover from John, I can understand the detail of the negotiation just by looking at it. Okay. He tried to show his abilities and impress her, but she was really worried. Because, hey, what's this all about? Opening the negotiation data, David, the department head, exclaimed in surprise. The client is a foreign company, so it's natural for it to be in a foreign language. Yeah, I knew that, but this is... David stared intently at the data. I can't read it. Sweating profusely, David started to freaking out. Mary looked at him with disdain and sighed deeply. What language is this? It's French. What? Mary's mood became worse and worse, and the words she spoke to him became colder and colder. Mary, do you speak French? Well, yes. But if you hadn't fired John, this deal would have probably gone smoothly, and the negotiation might be called off. What should I do? Are you really sure who you asking? David had no words in response and fell silent. Mary's anger only grew, reaching a breaking point. That's enough, David. Please realize that your usual attitude is ruining the atmosphere in this department. And you fired John because you thought he was harassing me. How do you know that? John and I are friends. Just friends. He treats me not as a woman, but as if I were just one of the guys. There's no way he would act in the vile manner you do towards me." Mary's rare outburst of anger left the office in a chilling silence. I heard from a colleague later that David, unaccustomed to serious reprimands, visibly shrank, an unusual sight for an adult, tears welling up in his eyes. "Your persistent inquiries about whether I have a partner, trying to leave work at the same time as me, and even attempting to follow me to the station I use. Honestly, it was very unpleasant. I can't take it anymore. I will be reporting your actions to the grievance office." "Please, don't do that." Mary shook off David's desperate attempt to stop her and left the office. According to a colleague who observed him afterwards, he was trembling and repeatedly muttering, "What do I do? What do I do? What do I do?" Later, David was called to the grievance office where he was severely reprimanded. He was seen half crying, trying to justify his actions towards Mary, which he happened to overhear by chance. "I met her when I was a trainee teacher at a high school. I fell in love with her at first sight, and I've been following her ever since. I searched and finally found out she was working at this company. I joined a company because of that. It's true. I fired an employee who got along well with her for personal reasons. I couldn't stand his presence. I wanted to prove that I was the only one who could offer her pure love." Even the grievance officer was taken aback by his confession, which seemed to come from the depths of the earth. Hearing this, Mary collapsed to her knees, trembling. Afterward, David was demoted from his managerial position to a regular employee. Due to the personal issues behind his motivation for joining the company, he was transferred to a different department on another floor where Mary wasn't present. The impact of this has led him to financial difficulties. Well, considering his self-serving nature, it's hard to imagine he was ever prudent with his money. This is surely what he deserved. And now he's away from Mary, and everybody in the office knows what he's done. He will surely have a mental breakdown in the years to come. My ability to speak French comes from my father's influence. I spent my childhood in France until the age of 15 because of my father's job. My interest in French literature, which I developed during that time, led me to major in it at university. Thanks to those efforts, and with Mary's hard work, we were able to close that $10 million wine deal. I thought it would be a shame to let that experience deteriorate into a thing of the past, so I decided to start a new business based on my fluent French and the knowledge and experience I had gained at the food import company. Its content is French literature with a taste. Just like American literature, the world within books is filled with various gourmet dishes. Jack and the Beanstalk, The Glass Dog, and in The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, there's many kinds of meal in that story. Also, I want to import sweets and foods inspired by stories from French literature like The Little Prince, Les Miserables, and Around the World in 80 Days, to be enjoyed alongside reading. This feeling was one of the original reasons why I started a company that mainly imports food products associated with literature and literary figures. 1 month has passed since I took this step. Although it is now starting to take off, it was still a struggle in the beginning. This is a real thorny issue, especially when it comes to funding. Even with all the hard work, there was never enough money. For this reason, I had to ask the bank to provide them with some money somehow. I could have relied on connections made for CEO Johnson from my time at the food import company, but I doubted that other CEOs, whom I had only met briefly, would be interested in this not yet profitable venture. So, I decided to wait until the company was more established and could entice them with the scent of potential profits before leveraging those connections. For now, I want to keep it on track, making the most of the small connections I've made. Several months later, I received a call from Mary. "John, it's been a while. How are you doing?" "I'm doing well, just keeping things going here. How about you, Mary?" "I'm doing great, especially now that David is gone. I feel so refreshed. That's great to hear. Thank you. And about that $10 million deal, it was successfully completed. Congratulations. That's impressive, especially with the sudden tough situations. Well done. Thank you. So, well, why don't we grab some drinks to celebrate? It has been a while. I've been waiting for your words. I actually have things I want to talk to you. Let's talk about it when we meet. Okay, I'm looking forward to it. The call ended there, but somehow, I felt something indescribable. Even though it was the same type of conversation we always have, hearing her voice after such a long time left me feeling emotions I couldn't quite understand. On the day, we raised our glasses at a somewhat upscale pub we don't usually visit. It's so good. I knew that drinking together is really nice, isn't it? Yeah, you're right. What's up? You seem a bit off today. It's nothing. Well, maybe I'm a bit different today. Are you saying this yourself? Well, it's fine. Let's order something. Sounds good. As the dishes and cold beer arrived one by one, we caught up on recent times. I talked about the hardships of starting my company, and Mary talked about David, who is not in close relationship anymore. Actually, I have a favor, John. I want to work at your company. You're just after settling that big deal. Is it because of David? Yeah. Today, Mary drank more than usual. She ended up quite drunk, almost to the point of being defenseless. I've been feeling so uneasy. The creepiness from that time still lingers in my chest. Sure, work is going well, but I've started to dislike being there. I remember the story. Being stalked by someone as clingy as him. It's understandable you'd feel that way. That's why I've decided I want to work at your place, John, and then I want to move out of my current house and live near you. Whoa, hold on. This is all moving a bit fast. Mary is usually different, but today she seemed particularly vulnerable. Seeing her like this made me unsure of what to do at times. Is it uncomfortable for you if I live nearby? No, that's not a problem for me, but what should I do? I'm getting drunk now and my thinking is not as clear. And then I blurted out, instead of living nearby, why don't you just move in my place? What? Even she was drunk. Mary's response was sharp. I'd be really happy if you worked at my company. I really want you to come, and honestly, I'd feel uneasy leaving you alone. I was thinking it might be good if we lived together, if you're okay with that. Well, we're friends, and that's a big step. I need some time to prepare myself. Is it because of alcohol? Or is it the emotions I'm hoping for? Either way, her face was flushed red at that moment. Well, if you do decide to come, I'll be counting on you. Let's continue working together as business partners. Okay, then, let's toast to our new beginning. 4 years have passed since I founded the company. Recently, our products themed around French literature and gourmet have started to be featured by young people on social media. Among them were celebrities and influencers, whose endorsements turned our products into a big hit. Now, riding the wave of trend, we've also started British literature and gourmet and German literature and gourmet divisions within the company. We started as a small team has grown, as more people who share the same passion for other countries have joined, expanding our scale. We're now able to plan large events, and my company's revenue has been hitting new records year after year. I'm thinking it's about time to approach the various CEOs I met for the opportunities I had while working at the food import company with some big proposals. Since the day Mary joined my company, we've been living together. About a week after she moved in, I joked, "This is more like living together," and she became unusually flustered and embarrassed. Seeing Mary's genuinely adorable reaction, I finally understood what I'm feeling for her. Bound by an affection that transcended friendship, we wove a unique story into our lives, intertwining our destinies on the blank pages ahead. Time has passed since then, and our company is soon to celebrate its 5th anniversary. When I suggested making that day our wedding anniversary, as a testament to our partnership both in business and in life, Mary was so overjoyed she burst into tears. The tears streaming down her smiling face shone even more brilliant than the diamond ring I gave her in my proposal. One day, after we married, during a casual conversation, "Honey, look at this magazine. Our company is featured in such a big article. Yeah, it's all thanks to everyone's hard work. And even in the toughest times, having you by my side was what truly gave me strength. Mary, you're undoubtedly key to this company's success." "Stop it. That makes me feel so embarrassed," she said, her ears and cheeks flushing red. "You've started blushing more since we got married." "Really? Am I really blushing right now?" She ran into the bathroom to check her reflection. Seeing her whisper, "I am. I really am," and this made my heart skip a beat. Life is often fraught with hardships and injustices. I've had my share of troubles, from being fired by David to enduring his various schemes, but now I've managed to achieve great success. I believe that it's because I never lost hope, even when faced with life's adversities, and continued to strive forward. A crisis can indeed be an opportunity. Being fired back then was a chance for a new beginning, and I still believe it was a blessing in disguise.